A year later, you find yourself on a flight to your first meeting with a big client. You are 26 years old and the year is 2021. Though you continue to sell your friendly toy robots in the consumer market, you think robots like Ariel would also be skilled enough to become good employees in many places of work, doing the job well while getting along with co-workers. Josh is seated to your left by the window, asleep. His turquoise, internet-enabled glasses, which he managed to sneak through the takeoff process, are skewed where his face meets the cabin. In the aisle seat, Ellie is fiddling with the 3D models of Ariel on her tablet computer. You decide to leave Tammy back at the office. She's not really suited to tense negotiations. Who is your big client? Well, we can choose Spark Incorporated, maker of flying cars, Rudolph Ventures, a shipping company working the newly melted North Pole, Galen Medical, a company specializing in surgical equipment, or a man in Shanghai who wants to negotiate the import of 10,000 robots. No flying cars, no... A man in Shanghai. Actually, I like Galen Medical, but the man in Shanghai sparks my interest. I'm gonna go with the man in Shanghai. The size of this Mr. Soon's order is much larger than what you're used to dealing with, and you can fill it without increasing your capacity. You're meeting with him in Shanghai to try to negotiate a delivery time and make sure the order is legit. Josh told you that this deal wasn't absolutely critical to the company's survival because it has a fair amount of investment capital behind it from angels, you assume not literally, but that you probably won't be able to build a dedicated robot factory until you find a backer big enough to justify the increased production. You open your laptop and go over your own personal slides. Over your presentation slides, sorry. The diagram showing the latest model of Ariel doesn't have anything to give the audience a sense of her current scale. To give an audience a sense of size, you drop in a picture of a hobbit. Ariel hasn't changed in size since I built her. Bill Gates. Ariel is the size of a human now, so that models of her type are better equipped to perform human tasks. Or a rancor monster so big she couldn't fit on the plane. I like the size of a hobbit. You place a picture of a hobbit next to Ariel in your presentation to give her a sense of scale. By retaining the same form she always had, Ariel has become still better at multi-coordination, plus to grace. She's also adapted to people perceiving her as somewhat childlike, and she sometimes plays on that perception to get her away, plus empathy. Oh, that's so nice. What are her stats anyway? Autonomy 17, Empathy 18, Military 5 and Grace 7. Alright, I have 2 proposed improvements on Ariel's design for you, Ellie says. Which one do you think we should go with for this presentation? Ellie hands you the tablet computer she's been fiddling with. Side by side, there are 2 3D models that you can rotate and zoom with your fingers. One is sleek and has an Apple-style look to it. Your prototype's hacked together parts have been replaced with a smooth, white plastic shell, reminding you of Eevee from Volvi. Yes! The joints remind you of an armadillo shell. The other design is somewhat more startling because it's a model of a smiling girl. You uncheck the tiki box for the skin layer to reveal Ariel's original plastic frame, along with Ellie's annotation for where the fake skin would be attached. You're impressed. Both forms are remarkable in their own right, and they also appear to be sound from an engineering point of view. Wow, you say. Sorry, it's so last minute, Ellie says, but they're done before the meeting, like I promised. Let's go with your first design, Ellie, the sleek one. I like the first one, the sleek one. The ghost of Steve Jobs is giving the thumbs up for this one, you say, pointing to the white streamlined design. Thanks, Alice says. So, Bill Gates is Steve Jobs? Oh, Steve Jobs. Okay, I found Bill Gates. Thanks, Alice says. I was going for an Apple-like look, but they never really had to deal with human joints. I hope they don't look too weird. They look great, you say, and you mean it, plus free grace. Ellie grabs a few screen captures of the 3D model and sends them to you via local wireless so that you can update the presentation with them. The success of your presentation now seems even more urgent the success of your presentation now seems even more urgent that, oh yeah, there's a typo here, that you can see the amazing improvements you could make to Ariel if you had the cash. There you say, and you turn to Ellie to get her opinion about a slide layout, but she is asleep. Deciding Ellie has the right idea, you send a quick chat to Tammy, wishing your love good night. Good luck tomorrow, Tammy chats back. Then you close your laptop and go to sleep. Shanghai is a chaotic city, a mix of the completely unfamiliar, signs you can't read, street vendors selling food you can't identify, and unsettling initiative ads for a product called the iPad by a company called Apple, and the Disney-like Fox European castle that is your hotel. In pretending to be a modern Western city, you think it has hit the uncanny valley. I haven't been here in a long time, Alice says softly, looking around the city. Notice anything different, you ask? There are a lot more skyscrapers, she says, and there are more Western luxury brands available for sale. The real thing, not just knockoffs, but I also see fewer street vendors and more people sleeping in alleyways, she said. She seems wistful and sad. You find Mr. Sun on the 33rd floor of an office skyscraper. There is no reception. Beyond the elevator's glass lobby, the somewhat heavy Chinese man is simply sitting at a lone desk in a giant room as movers haul in filling cabinets and other office supplies. The tracks from a vacuum cleaner are still visible on the floor. Hello, Dr. Calvin, Miss Law, Mr. Anderson, please have a seat. Mr. Sun has a British accent, and he speaks English passably but carefully. The movers drop a swivel chair for you. They do the same for Ali and Josh. As you sit, you notice Mr. Sun's desk is very clean, the pen sitting neat and untouched in a row next to a full pad of blank paper. His nameplate simply says Mr. Sun in a font that looks a little off somehow. As you can see, I am very busy moving into the new office, Mr. Sun says, so I hope we can settle this quickly. To be honest, I am not certain why we are having this meeting. You cannot meet with every potential buyer personally and expect to stay afloat. We don't have the capacity to provide you with so many robots without opening our own factory, you say. And it's unusual for one person to want 10,000 robots. We were wondering what you wanted them all for, and we wanted to make sure there wasn't a misunderstanding. 10,000 is unusual, he says, considering. Alright, just 10 then. Yes, just 10 should be fine. Wait, I'd be happy to sell you 10,000. Or, yeah, I'd feel more comfortable just selling you 10 robots. You still haven't said what you wanted them for. Why did you choose to meet in an empty office like this? I'm afraid we aren't able to fulfill your order, sorry. I'm gonna go with wait, I'd be happy to sell you 10,000. Excellent, Mr. Sun says. We have a deal. He offers his hand and you shake it, plus free wealth. Holy hell. Disposable income. Waiting for a taxi back to your hotel, you notice Josh seems uncomfortable about the deal you have made. I don't trust that guy at all. It's the business world, everybody's a little shady. I think he's good for the money. It's not our problem what he does with them. Or you're probably right, but we just need the sale to stay afloat. What I went for was, I'd be happy to sell you that, and then I thought there would be other options, but... Okay, well, what can we do? I'm just gonna go with the first one. That's not true, Josh says irritably, and the ride back to the hotel is relatively quiet. With a deal in hand, you can now build a robot factory. Yeah, Josh isn't very happy with me now. You meet up with Josh for coffee to discuss the plan. So where do you think we should build this thing? John asks. Detroit, Michigan. I see a bunch of listings for factories dirt cheap, and they probably have a good labor pool for manufacturing. Shenzhen District, China, a common location for tech company outsourcing with cheap but skilled labor. Silicon Valley, will withstand the real estate sticker shock to have access to the most skilled engineer. Or Alaska, which is offering incentives to business willing to relocate to the coast near the newly melted Arctic Sea. I like Detroit or Alaska, or definitely not Shenzhen. Silicon Valley. I'd say Detroit. You fly to Detroit with Ellie and Josh. You have a long chat with Ellie and Josh in which you talk about the future plans for US robots, as well as your personal lives. I guess I want a family at some point, Josh says, but definitely not now. We haven't even gone public yet. I don't think I could be there for the family as much as I'd like. I could see myself retiring early if we do well, Ellie says. I don't think I need much more money to live on. Of course, it would be nice to have all the money that Bill and Melinda Gates have to give to charitable causes, but I don't want to keep putting off giving back to the world. We're glad you can talk to Ellie and Josh about such things. Life's big decision seems a little less scary when you don't have to face them alone. Dark clouds from the Great Lakes have rolled in over the city, adding forbidding air to the dead hulks of factories that graze in the skyline. Driving your rental car into the manufacturing district, you see broken windows, graffiti, and burnt and abandoned building galore. Okay, I can see why some of these were dirt cheap, Josh says. My god, Ellie says. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. The first signs of life you see are near the Social Services Center, which seems to have become a de facto hangout for much of this neighborhood. In the parking lot, you see a few tents, some old ladies playing bridge on a card table, and some guys playing a pickup game of basketball. Josh frowns. Wow, they sure seem to be doing a lot to improve the place. What do you want them to do, Ellie says. They can't single-handedly start businesses. They probably can't even afford to move. Finally, you arrive at your destination, an old factory once inhabited by a big free automaker that spans several blocks. You drive for a while to get around the barbed wire covered wall before meeting a real estate agent at the locked front gates. You've got a real deal here, she says. This place hardly costs more than my place in Ann Arbor. Inside the factory is surprisingly modern and intact. Not just the assembly lines, but the robot arms that assemble the cars, the giant wielding machines, and the crucibles where molten steel was shaped into parts. Some enterprising thieves appear to have made off with the easily transported parts. You see places where computer monitors clearly used to be, but much of this was apparently too expensive to move, too old and specialized to auction. But you can find uses for this stuff. It will do nicely, aside from the depressing neighborhood. You can easily imagine robots rolling off the assembly lines. +2 wealth. Wow. Well off. So should I let the community know you'll be hiring soon? Your guide asks meaningfully, taking away the contract. We got this, right? John whispers. You're going to make robot workers? You'd suggest to Josh before that your robots could probably be your entire labor force. But after having seen the facilities, you certainly might reconsider. What kind of labor will you recommend to Josh? Ariel's model of robot will perform all the labor, including supervision. Robots with human supervisors. Human labor at marketed rates, rather low in this economy. Or following Henry Ford's model, I will hire human workers and pay them handsomely. Either Ariel's model of robot will perform all the labor, or robots with human supervisors, definitely not. Actually, no, this would be okay, I think. Human labor at market rates, rather low in this economy. Or following Henry Ford Models 1, I will hire human workers and pay them handsomely. This would make us really popular, I think. This one would be cheaper but can earn a lot of hate. This one would be probably the most economic one. Robots with human supervisors. God, this one is really weird and tricky. All of these have downsides. I'd be willing to go with this one, but I'm afraid it might bankrupt us in the long run. Man, this is a tricky one. Romance. Definitely not the first one. Okay, I ruled this one out as well. This one is better in the long run. This one is better for humanity. I'm gonna go with this one.